Is this thing on?
Ahoy.
Surprise!
I don't know. Ahoy. That's all I got this week.
Here we are. Surprise!
Very pirate-driven kind of... When is International Talk Like a Pirate Day?
I don't know.
I have
is
no
there
idea.
actually a day where you meant to
There
talk
is.
Like
Yeah, there is
Talk
an
Like a
International
Pirate
Talk
Day.
Like a Pirate Day.
No.
I feel like we
I
may
think
have...
it's in June, but I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, look, we could be on the cusp.
We could.
Like a modern pirate or like the old school?
Well, yeah.
Like a
Treasure
movie
Island.
pirate. Like a
Treasure
movie
Island.
Like
pirate.
a Somali pirate.
Yeah, we all just go back to the early 2000s when we were downloading torrents. You know, I'm a pirate.
Or Napster.
You wouldn't steal a handbag.
Oh, remember Napster?
I'm so old, I missed Napster.
Hi, Joe. How are you?
Oh, it's not till September. Hi, Joe.
September. Oh, we've got
September
plenty of time
19th.
to avast you, me hearties, and buckle our schwabs and all that kind of thing.
I'm 80.
Yes. Hi. Welcome, verily.
Strap yourself to the mizzen.
I went Norse then. Welcome, verily, to you Uncensored Radio's.
Verily.
What's
Verily.
the bloody show called? UCR Live. There you go.
Today
You
is
hate
Pirate
Carl.
Day.
It's not Pirate Day. Pirate Day is not till September.
Yeah. No pirates. Hi, Dogsy. How
Ah,
are you?
Dogsy. Hello, darling.
It's just three of us. It's always three of us at the moment. We like to be
This is a full house these days.
These days. Long gone are the days of 6 panelists by the looks of it.
I know,
It's
including like celebrity panelists all the time.
No, it's all good. We are
I've lost
just
them all. It's
busy.
just everything's going to hell. Like
we're just busy.
I don't know what's happened. Oh my god.
We're just busy. It's all right. It's busy, but we keep it real. We keep it real. We're here to keep it real.
All right, how
Been a
real are we
week.
going to get right now?
It's been a week, so I'm.
It's been a week.
Well, I know it's up to you. How real are you going to get this?
I'm fine. I'm post coitus, so let's.
Okay, there you go. You went there.
I got a mani-pedi scheduled for tomorrow, so I'm going to be fine.
Oh.
Vera's going to be post coitus tomorrow.
Vera's
nice
going to have
nails.
claws and paws. She'll
Claws
be good
and
to go.
paws. That's right.
Claws and paws. I'm good to
I'll get
go.
those pretty piggies.
Oh, I haven't pressed the button. Well,
So
that's nice.
Vera's thinking that she's going to be the new checkout chick at Jeff's sub shop.
I was,
We've proposed this a long time. I think
I was telling Luke that I had dinner with Jeffrey
Beloved
last
leader.
night.
Beloved
we went out
leader.
to dinner, and we were talking about how fucked my retirement plans have gotten. And I said, I'm going to have to go to work when I retire. Maybe I'll come work for you.
Right.
So then I go in today to get a sub because whenever my cleaning lady comes, she doesn't want me to come back to the house. So I had to get lunch somewhere. So I went down to
Get
get
out.
Jeff again.
Get out of your own house.
She throws me out.
Get out, bitch.
Get out of your own house.
But
It's my
if Vera-
house.
Vera's going to work at the sub shop. She doesn't smoke, but I'm thinking she could have the fake one that lights up at the end when
She
you
could just
suck on
smoke a
it.
clove cigarette.
Yeah, I need her to just be there and be like,
You
want
can't
some
smoke around
meatballs?
food. You can't even fake smoke around food. If
You
I'm
want some
doing my job,
meatballs?
I do love Jeff's meatballs.
Oh, there you go. You heard it here first.
Beautiful.
Jeffrey Emmett has meaty balls.
There you go. And
they're
saucy.
they're much better than Subway. Oh,
There you go. Oh,
Oh, they are.
God.
No, actually,
Boy.
I've had let's drum up some business for Jeff's Substop. I had the hot Italian, they call it, which is
Yes.
meatballs and pepperoni. Best thing I've ever had in my mouth, honestly, except for
And
today.
that's a lot because Luke's had a lot in his mouth.
Yeah.
So, you know.
But it was
especially
great.
recently.
Yeah.
You know.
Still dripping.
I go in and I order half a sub, and Jeffrey always gives me a whole one. So I got half a sub that I bring home, and my sister's like, "What's this?" I said, "It's my sub from Jeffrey." She says,
Yes, thank you. And just walks away with
she
it.
looks at it. She goes, "You're so Italian." I said, "I know."
I know. at least she leaves it there. She doesn't.
And then you just get your cigarette out. And there's meatballs on
They're
it.
meatballs. I love the meatballs. I put the spinach and a little black olive and the provolone. You put the provolone on the meatballs. You don't put the provolone on tuna, okay?
Oh dear. Oh dear.
We're not okay today.
We're not okay.
We're never okay, but it's,
That's why
Some
we're
people's-
uncensored.
some people's mental health manifests in strange ways. We just put it on a podcast.
Yeah,
It's okay.
post
It's
coitus.
all right. It's okay. Thank you. I
Trying to kill me there, Luke.
I must send out a big thank you to everyone who has checked out the Final Destination reviews. Those have actually gone really quite well. And thank you to everyone who is over on YouTube. Our YouTube views are finally starting to, crack those double digits. Oh,
Well, that's the only place now that you'll find all the old shows because Facebook decided that they
Slowly
don't want to host
deleting, yep.
anymore.
slowly
So
deleting.
I'm very upset by it, but because we had so many there's shows where we've had like 40,000 views and stuff like that on Facebook, and it saddens me that they're going to go.
Right.
Like, but it is what it is. So go over to the YouTube. The YouTube is always going to be there. It was kind of our archive when we first come back as a video show, but we're going to push it a little bit more now because we figure that that's where everything will be forever.
Look, we've finally got more we've finally got more subscribers, so it's nice.
Yeah, like and subscribe. Smash that subscribe button.
Yeah, we need to have a couple more.
Smash
and
it.
There's I have been going in there and trying to tidy it up a little bit and make the playlists a bit more copacetic and put some more artwork and stuff up, all the behind the scenes stuff that nobody sees or notices. But it's
I noticed.
I noticed, babes.
I
do.
noticed.
It's
I
there.
absolutely do
And
notice.
it's a hard job too. Like that's the thing. This podcast has been a labor of love for all of us, and
for a long time. And I can't remember what I was watching the other day, but I was like, damn, their graphics suck. Steve does way better than that.
Their podcast is shit.
All off the back of no knowledge whatsoever. We just hope for the best, That's just how we roll.
Oh,
But it's been a very I must admit I have been feeling the pressure this week. It's been a very full on last couple of weeks.
I actually need
There's a lot
to speak
going
to you off air too, Stephen.
on. I wonder why.
I know.
I wonder why.
I saw
something. A little fairy came along and just.
Well, a
deposited
fairy
little
came
present.
along today as well, but
Yeah, look, we're friends. We're not that good friends, That's not going to work out.
you don't do the crew, guys.
You don't do the crew. No. Makes things unless you're a lesbian
Anymore.
That's a whole different story. That's a whole different.
Well, you're actually wearing a
just kidding.
lesbian shirt today, which is nice.
Yeah, look, I was feeling a bit. I'm embracing
Lumberjacky?
my trucker
Yeah.
era. I think it's very.
You
I'm
want to
trying
go
to
chop
make
down a
it-
tree, bub?
This is me trying to convince border security to let me in the country.
I don't like the gays.
I love the president.
You got to convince them that somebody's trying to kill you because white genocide is Trump's new thing.
I love the president. And I hate fentanyl. Yeah, it's just the way we go. See, this doesn't help.
No.
This doesn't help. I always
you've
start
just
out
done yourself
okay.
a
It's
disservice.
like-
This is going to play at your customs hearing,
Yeah, I know. I will not be able to bring any social media carrying devices the next time I enter the
I can't keep my mouth shut. I'm getting
Dogsy's
arrested.
getting savage. I was wondering if it was 2010 Midwest
It's
emo.
actually a little bit of both. It's actually a little bit of both. I don't mind. I embrace it. Like fashion is cyclical, my friends. So
Look,
go
I
and
can't
look
talk. I'm wearing a
Go
tank
and look
top.
at what people are looking at wearing today. It's like a nightmare of the early 2000s out there. You're like, oh god, that's what you picked.
Well,
That's what
I
you
think
picked to bring back.
I want like those huge scrunchies to come back for like older.
That's 80s.
Oh, I love
Yeah, no,
those
but I
huge
want them
scrunchies.
back.
I was
I
the
want them
queen
back.
of those huge scrunchies. I
Like,
put
I
it
buy
all
my
on top
kid-
of my head and little pebbles do.
Yeah. Like I buy my kid those huge scrunchies and I make her wear them. But it's
I
not the
rock
same-
those
I want-
scrunchies. There's
yeah.
at least one in my hair and one on my wrist.
And
Back
side
in the
ponies
day.
need to come back, like a side pony. Has to
Oh,
come
I
back.
did. I was a fan of the side pony, and sometimes I would braid at the side pony.
Oh,
See,
hardcore.
scrunchies have already had their moment though. Don't you remember? Probably what 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, I'm too
the
old to
boys
rock
were
a
even wearing them
scrunchie
on their
now.
wrist. Like the boys were wearing them on their wrists so they could give them to the chickies. Like I remember that. I saw that
I
moment.
don't.
I do think I'm too old to rock a
I've blocked
scrunchie
it.
now.
Do it.
I
An ironic
reckon
scrunchie.
Scrunchy side pony you could do for the next show, Vera. I expect it.
Top
actually.
pony scrunchie.
We
I
need to
did
do an
love the
80
top pony.
Like
We need to do an
Pebbles.
80s flashback
Pebbles.
or something.
Little
Next time we
pebbles
have
and yeah, little
next time we
pebbles
have
hairdo.
someone we'll have to find someone that from the 80s we can interview and you can rock the full 80s.
Debbie
You know.
Gibson.
I can't fit into my 80s gear anymore.
Actually,
The reason I like
guys,
this shirt is it's got thumb holes.
guys,
Oh,
we
I
need your
love
help.
those. I only had one sweater that had the thumb holes, but I enjoyed
Now,
it.
I need the audience's help. We need to find some like, you know, ex-celebrities or current celebrities. Who do you want us to try and interview? Like, we've been reaching out to a few, but we haven't been as gung-ho as in the past. So we need to start having our celebrity interviews come back, because that was always, I find for me, it was always a highlight. It was a lot of fun. So if you could think of anyone, please either message it in the comments to me or even reach out to them yourself and ask them, because we want some people on. It's fun.
Yeah,
It
that's
is
all right.
fun.
We've got things simmering. It's just
We may-
you know.
Well, we
This is
may
silly.
have a lamb roast coming back. Who knows? But
Who knows? All right, folks. Should we cut all this preamble and get to the good stuff?
yeah, sure.
But
Yeah,
maybe
go
the
on.
second time today for Luke, but everyone else, watch out for this
Hot
week.
load of hot topics.
You brought it up, my friend. Don't hang your head.
I've got to pick up the slack, you know.
Then he's
Beloved leader isn't here, so someone
Yeah,
has to
fair.
call you a hoe.
Fair. And I
Someone has
I did volunteer the information,
Yeah.
so I deserve.
Get Walter
Walton
Goggins.
Goggins.
Yeah. I don't know that he's a little bit beyond our aspirations at the moment. I don't think that.
Yeah, I think he's
having
too
his-
hot for us right
He's
now.
having his A-list moment.
If we tried him like
You
8-10
just gotta
months
catch-
ago, we might
you
have been
gotta
able to
catch
get him.
at the right time. See, I
Yep.
think we have a history of catching people at the right time, just before like they get their own podcast or
Or their
something.
movie comes out on Amazon Prime,
Yeah,
like Grady
like, you know.
Hendrix.
Yeah.
You know, check out Grady Hendrix.
Oh,
on our
Grady
YouTube channel.
will come back. I have been speaking to Grady on and off since our interview, actually. So
Yeah.
he will be coming back. So
Yay!
maybe around spooky season, that might be another little treat.
Can I just
So-
say, I actually find Grady quite sexy just because he's so kind of brilliant. Like,
He's a great guy. It was a good conversation. If you haven't,
Yes, it
seen
was a good conversation.
It was a long conversation, but it was a good one. It was okay. It was okay. So this week's been a little bit of an all over the shop week. The news hasn't been totally thrilling, so you know, like you know, but I rely on Vera to do the heavy lifting for the political stuff because she's all over it. But there is one undeniable fact that you know it's good to be white and rich in America.
Oh, motherfucker!
what is happening here? Okay, so
Donald
we got Trump
Trump
and a
has
couple.
pardoned reality TV show couple Todd and Julie Chrisley after they were tried, convicted, and sentenced.
and admitted guilt. They admitted guilt, and he
Yes.
got only.
What did they do? I don't know
They
nothing
have
about them.
$35 million of bank fraud and tax evasion.
Oh.
Apparently, Daddy Chrisley, whatever the fuck his name is, Chrisley couldn't make ends meet on their TV reality show salary and his real estate millions. So he was kiting. He was taking fraudulent loans out through the bank. They might as well be. I swear to God, Chrisley trips my gaydar, but that's another story. Anyway, so They find all this evidence. They bring this couple to trial during their show. They are reality TV stars.
During their reality TV show, in Real Housewives
Right.
style.
And not only do they have this mountain of evidence against these people for this $35 million worth of fraud, they also admit it. Chrisley himself admitted it, that he did some things badly. He didn't say, I committed all those crimes. He said, yeah, I did some things badly. And, so his daughter, her name is Samantha, is a big Trump supporter. She runs around in a pink MAGA hat, and she's been attending Mar-a-Lago regularly. And Donnie Dearest, not only did he pardon them, he also pardoned them and transmuted all of the fines and the money that they were required to pay back.
So they're allowed to keep all their criminal money.
So yes, any criminal money that they have is still theirs. And any fines that they accrued are gone. So, this man who's determined, to kill grandma because her pills cost too much, and he won't pay for cancer research for 4-year-olds because their meds cost too much. But yeah, that $35 million that you guys stole, the taxpayers will take care of it. You just keep that.
Yeah, well, look.
And that's not the most grievous thing that he pardoned this year. The other one was a bankster. I can't think of his name, but he embezzled like $4 billion. It was a big number. I don't think it was 4 million but I can't think it would be billion. But anyway, he was pardoned 3 weeks after his mother went down to Mar-a-Lago and paid $1 million to have dinner with Donald Trump. So Donald Trump, who literally took a bribe from the Qatari government, is also now selling pardons.
So you're allowed to just commit white collar crime and make heaps of money.
All you gotta be in this country is white.
And rich.
Champ. I'll do it. I'm ready. But I don't think he's going to like me. Yeah, see, I'm not rich.
Hey, if you pay the fee, they'll let you.
Well, he let in those several hundred South Africans. Yeah, and created a lie that they were getting crucified by a white genocide in their crime-ridden country.
Yeah, that's the problem in that country. Yeah.
But
anyway, look, I'm sure that the Chrisleys have probably bought that coin, Vera. They've probably bought that coin, that Trump coin.
Oh, Savannah Chrisley is a pretty little blonde. She rubbed her boobs in Daddy Don's face. She flirted with him. I don't know that she paid him a cent, but she certainly rubbed him the right way.
Yeah.
Like a genie in a bottle, baby.
Yeah.
Got to rub him the right way.
As ex-Tito used to say, Bless.
I will not malign her and say that she paid him off, but I do know that she,
someone who is a convicted fraudster themselves.
Right. Well, he wouldn't see anything wrong with using bank loans fraudulently, and why would you care? He used the children's charity fraudulently. Why would he care about using the banks fraudulently?
Yeah, just like his steaks and his
casino
and his
hotel. I am so getting taken out of this world by ice.
Oh well.
Oh well.
Vera's
what would you
rather do? I'm so fucked. I just can't keep my mouth shut.
Why should you though? Why should you? It's just like everyone else is, and that's the problem.
There's this little thing called the First Amendment that technically protects me, but the only amendment that any Republicans read is the second.
Yeah. Good.
What's some of those meatballs?
Change my name to Donna. I'm going to be Donna from now on. Who's that Vera you talk about? Yeah, I look like her, but I ain't her.
She's my cousin. She's no good. She had to sleep with the fishes.
She's one of those dirty libtards you've been hearing about.
All right. Well, while we're talking fast food and all things delicious, There has been a bit of a, I don't know if it's a
Like me.
shocking find, but a hack that went viral a couple of weeks ago called the McMigraine meal, where
McMigraine.
McMigraine meal. Apparently, the solution to a migraine is a McDonald's, large fries, and large Coke.
I have a friend who's been swearing about this, but he would also get a large cheeseburger.
Well, I think it's just oily, anything oily. Like, you know,
It was his hangover meal.
Yeah.
Since
if
the
you
80s.
had lots of drinks, you crave all.
That was my question on the page.
Sugar,
so, what is
oil.
everyone's? If you had one, what is your hangover cure? Now, I will. I've already put mine on the page. I've already put mine on the page.
I missed that poster. I didn't put mine on the page. I don't.
It's KFC. Like if I am hungover, I wake up going chicken. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. It was my father's as well. He was like, "We've got to go. We've got to go there." And it's like, okay, God. So that was mine.
Mine now is. So it used to be always just anything bready, like Subway or anything like or Substop where Jeff works with a nice meatball. But now it is cheesy garlic naan. With a tikka masala. So there's oil. It's fragrant. It's beautiful. You just with all that cheesy.
You got to get your salt in there too, though.
Yeah. No, I pop salt in mine, Bubs, and I crack pepper, get it all over there. And also, like, I find too, if ever I'm like really hungover, is a nice little side of
Pedialyte.
No, KFC. KFC's always
side of KFC.
Pedialyte. I got to tell you,
but
kid.
when I'm saying side, I'm talking 21-piece bucket and just going for it.
Pedialyte.
This is the most British thing I've heard. A cup of tea and sardines on toast.
That is very British.
Damn, dude.
No. Dogsy, no. I'm actually shocked with you right now. Who eats sardines on toast? Unless
British
like
people.
90?
British people. Brits.
British people. Vera's saying Pedialyte, that's it.
Pedialyte, man, is the gift from the gods. You go over there to the children's section of your drugstore and you buy yourself a big quart of Pedialyte. You'll feel better in an hour.
Oh, no, see, I don't know. Especially now, past the 20s, you got to really schedule that hangover in.
Bubs, we're real old now.
You got to go. You got to go. I need a day to feel really bad, and then like keep moving.
Okay, so I went to a drag show a couple of weekends ago when I was in Brisbane.
Yeah,
and I had 4 drinks, but they were, like double strength. So it was 8 standard. I drank.
It was a gay pour.
Yeah, over the night.
Okay.
And I was fine that night. Like, I was a bit buzzy and whatever and chatty and went home. Oh, gosh. The next morning.
PTSD.
Yeah, it's coming back to me. Coming back to me. I woke up the next morning. I was so sick. I was like dry reaching into the toilet. And then my child confronted me and said, I don't ever want to see you drink again. I'm like, sorry.
Oh.
And she's like, she said, yeah, it made me sad and scared. And I'm like, what? I'm like, did I have bad behavior or something?
She's going to turn you into Child Protective Services.
Right.
Well, she was upset because I was sick the next morning.
Right.
That's what made her sad and scared. But I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, it is what it is. We're going down to get some KFC and some cheesy garlic naan, babes. It's okay.
Well, my weekend warrior days are really far behind me, but the last time I tied one on, I did feel the after effects in spite of my Pedialyte for several days.
At least today
Several
you're just not functioning in the world. That is what you need.
Yeah.
And I got caught the fuck out last time I was with you guys over because we had to get on a fucking train. And I was not prepared. And that was Jeffrey.
Oh, was that when you were with Anne and Renata?
No, yeah.
No,
and then
that-
I came back after being with Anne and Renata, and I came back, and we were having a lovely, nice. Our last night there it was me, Vera, Dia, and Jeff just sitting on Jeff's porch, having a couple of
Yep.
drinks. You know, yep, and chilling out. And Vera and Dia go, "Oh yeah, we're gonna go home. Okay, cool." Vera hadn't even gotten to the bottom of the stairs. Jeff's like,
we're
"Should we go to
going
the
out,
bar?"
right?
I'm like, okay, so of course we ended up at the bar till 2:30, and we had to be at, like, we had left the house at 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
We
The
got
budget's
home. We
okay.
had we
I
got
fell
food.
asleep on that bar
We
you
had
went to.
food. We had food as well. So we probably went to bed at 4 and got. I was up at. I was not.
And Jeff
not.
drove. Jeff drove us to
Jeff-
the train station.
Yeah, I think I might have gotten a little bit more tanked than Jeffrey because they were between Jeffrey and the bartender, who we shall not name.
Yep, I know.
I was getting fed drinks quite rapidly. And
I
was
think
like,
this is a thing that this bartender does because he did it to me too. And I was already really like, it was literally not long after we got there. So I was still like jet lagged and fucked up anyway. I was asleep on the bar.
I will go to my grave saying that bartender has a Jeff fetish and he's trying to get people drunk on purpose.
I think so too.
We're good customers, though. We're good customers.
I'm fine with it. I'm actually fine with it. But
I'm fine with him too.
Wait, here we go. Dogsy says, I miss the days when I could wake up on Monday after a night on the crawl and I could have a cigarette. I almost said a very British word that would get me cancelled. Yeah, that's okay. An extra sugar in my tea and be right is right. Do you remember those days of going?
Oh, I remember those days.
It's 4 a.m. I've got to be at work at 9. This is cool. Everything's going to be great.
I used to. This is what I used to do. Because I used to work so as a nurse, I would work every second week, every second Saturday and Sunday at the place I worked at. I was in my early 20s. I would literally go out clubbing. I would cut off my alcohol at midnight. I'd be like, no more alcohol. I'd go home around 2 a.m, sleep for 4 hours, get up and go to work. And I was fine. Yep. I could not even imagine doing that now. Like, there was no way.
I remember working at the restaurant and we would be, we because we all worked together, some of us lived together, we all socialized together. So it was like a 24-hour cycle with the same people. We would finish work on a Friday and Saturday night, go usually back to our house and then out, or just stay at our house and get totally tanked. And then somebody had to be up and at the restaurant at 9:30 in the morning, setting up everything, like opening up the bar, touching the bar mats, all that. We just backed it up
bar mat, mum,
for years. I was very lucky that I didn't drive then, so
when I was
drank while I was working.
My 20s and my 30s, I worked the 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. shift.
Oh, that's horrid. You would have been like,
and then I was out every night till 5, 6, 7 in the morning. I can't tell you how many times I saw the sun come up and went home just long enough to shower and get to work, Yeah.
There's nothing that shows your there's nothing that shows your inner determination more than being in that shower and going, pull it together. Gotta pull it together. I remember a retail day. I got fuck-eyed the night before, and I was standing in the shower going.
I never got that bad.
I had to drive for half an hour. I'm like, there's no way I can drive, so I ended up getting an Uber to work. I reckon I was still drunk till about lunchtime.
Oh, dolls, that's not.
Till about lunchtime, working retail, and this was at Christmas. I'm like,
oh my god!
And there's nothing that's like that sheer white knuckle determination to get to the end of the day. You're like, I will make this. And I remember I finished at 4. I didn't have to stay all day, and then I was like, I just sat there in a pile and went. For about an hour. I'm like, I can't function anymore. It's okay.
No, but now that we're old, like my hangover, if I get really like blast. Like after the hens night the other night, and I didn't even get drunk that night, really. I spaced my drinks out. It took me about 3 or 4 days to recover because I just can't. I don't pick up like you used to.
Right.
You feel like you just want to lay around. You feel very unmotivated. You just like,
Well, just that total disruption of your cycle, staying up later than,
you know what's also fun?
What's that?
Drinking on a GLP-1. Woo!
Oh, haven't done that yet.
It's fun. It's cheap. It's very cheap. Okay, well, all right. This is drink number 3, and I am feeling it. Let's go. We have party time. Don't have to eat afterwards. You're like, yes. Those little hunger gremlins don't come out. You're like, feeling it. What's dogs you got to say? That's actually how I quit smoking. I was working in a garage and I came in hungover, changing the leaky petrol, went out for my smoke break, fell asleep on the bench and set my overalls on fire.
Oh my God.
Real stop, drop, and roll moment.
I can't wait to see your life made into a Netflix series.
Dogsy, I love seeing people who've been caught fire.
It needs to be called Baby Dogsy.
I've been on fire 3 different times.
What? Wait.
What?
Wind that record back. Vera's
been on fire 3 different times.
3 different. All right. This is the rest of the show. I need it. I want to hear about Immolation Vera.
The first time I caught fire, I was like 10 years old. And I was cooking breakfast, and my flannel nightgown brushed across the burner, and the flames went up my arm and down my back, and my mother grabbed me from behind and put me out.
Vera, are you Drew Barrymore?
I am not Drew Barrymore. I wish I was Drew Barrymore.
Fire starter.
The second time I caught fire, I was 19. I was at a New Year's Eve party. The guy I was with, we were shit-faced. It was 2 or 3 in the morning. And the guy I was with had a cigarette in his hand and his arms around my neck. And apparently the head of the cigarette dropped. I had my hair up in a Pebbles bun. The head of the cigarette dropped into my hair. And I'm just dancing and I don't feel a thing. But there's all these people behind me. And there's this one voice going, don't panic, we'll have you out. Don't panic, you'll have you out. And he's pulling at my hair. And all of a sudden, somebody throws a drink on me and I'm wet. And it's not until every bit of fire is out that I found that out.
Jesus Christ. All right. And the third time that you were on fire, Vera?
The third time I was caught on fire, it was a pride, gay pride prayer service.
Was it the fires of hell?
No.
That's later. That's the 4th time. That's the 4th time.
And I was at my good friend Steve, not you. He was directing the gay and lesbian choir, and they were going to be singing a concert at the gay and lesbian pride prayer service. And so I went to church, which I don't normally do because, me and God broke up years ago. And I was late because I was still working till 7, and I snuck in the back of the church.
As you walked in.
I know I didn't catch fire as I walked in. So Steve, the choir sings. I sneak into the back. I'm just hiding in the back all by myself. And there was this very sweet, well-meaning woman to my left, just kind of looking at me. And I could see her formulating in her head, oh, this poor woman hasn't come out of the closet yet. She's hiding in the back, but she wants to be here. So when they did the sign of peace, she made a point to come over, and she had the candles from the offertory in her hand, and she set me on fire.
Fair lesbian closet business.
And I could see the minister was like 2 steps away from me, and I could see by the look on her face that she realized I was on fire before anybody else did. But yes, I love that story because I say all the time, I cannot go to back to church. The last time I was in church, I caught fire. God has spoken.
Yeah, that's a sign that you probably shouldn't be in the building, right?
But yes, I have caught fire 3 different times in my life.
Well, there you go. What's happened there? Why have we disappeared?
I don't know. Why are we not on the show?
Hi, that was
Hi,
weird.
mine says live.
No, we disappeared. Our beautiful faces disappeared.
Yeah, sorry.
That was like there was a transition.
It
was you. Okay, Mary is not a lesbian. Not today. Not
Thank
today,
you.
anyway. Not today.
Got to keep my PR straight because you never know when Prince Charming might finally show up.
We will definitely be making a clip out of the 3 times Vera's been on fire. She always delivers. That's the TikTok for sure. That's the TikTok. We'll see if we can get there. But what a segue, because smoking can be dangerous, especially if you're Britney Spears.
Oh. Who would have thought
Britney has just been, spinning her way to justice, but on the 22nd of May, while on a charter plane flight, Britney Spears lit a cigarette mid-flight. And, of course,
was it a private jet?
I know. I wonder if we knew any of the surfers.
I think we would know if we knew that person. I think somebody would have had been on the phone going, "Guess what happened?" That voice might have given away who I was talking. What
happened was.
So Britney has taken to social media, as she does, to explain what happened. What happened? She says, after drinking vodka for the first time, she wanted a cigarette.
All right, who believes that?
Well, I don't not believe it. I don't not believe it because, well, all of the alleged, whatevers that was going on is more down to lithium than everything else. But from what we've heard, I don't believe it. But she might not know what makes up a drink either. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. A cocktail is not vodka.
She said she wanted a cigarette. A friend placed a cigarette in her mouth and lit it. She goes, "Oh, this is a place where you can smoke." No. No. She said, "I do so apologize to anyone who I offended, but the flight attendants always make sure I'm way at the back of the plane anyways." She said, when the authorities met her at the airport, she thought that they were greeting her as like support. She said, she's like, "Wow, I feel special. I feel famous." It's like, okay, you're Britney Spears. I thought the police greeting you. I mean, I guess it just proves how out of touch she is, and like,
what a mess.
Whatever. But she also had a little moment to kind of speak out against her treatment on the plane. She says that nobody was on the plane for the first 20 minutes, and the flight attendant wouldn't let her get up out of her seat.
No, she was detained.
No, this is before the plane. No, this is before the plane even took off. She acted so weird about making sure I sat down, and it was weird. I didn't like the fact that she put the seatbelt on me and invaded my space.
Maybe she'd asked politely several times, and Britney didn't respond.
Yeah, that's weird.
I think Britney's fucking nuts, man.
But look,
who knows what
there
really
has
happened.
been a bit of
Britney,
right. A bit of Britney Diddy crossover because with Diddy trial going on at the moment.
Oh yeah, the Give Me More performance.
Yeah, there's more and more.
Before that, I could tell.
The night before the infamous Give Me More performance, Britney was at a Diddy party, and you can just get on YouTube and look up Give Me More. I think it was the AMAs or something.
The VMAs.
The VMAs. You can look up the rehearsal the day before, and she was not like she was.
No, she was fucking.
The AMAs. It was the American Music Awards that we got.
Yeah,
it was VMAs.
The Video Music Awards.
Oh, okay.
MTV VMAs.
Oh, okay.
And she was flogged out. Like, I used to love that performance just for the fact that it was so messy. I was like, this is like when.
For Britney's wait. Let's put it
like
in
a
context.
really bad drag show.
Let's put it in context. Messy for Britney Spears at that time.
Yes,
because there are pop stars today that don't perform that well.
No, she still wasn't that bad.
No matter what was pumped, and there had to be something.
That's the thing. She wasn't
pumping
bad,
through her
but
body.
you could tell there was something wrong with her.
Something's not right. You can look at
Yeah.
can look at her eye, like you can look at in her eyes. She's not there. It's just like it's a really weird thing because you watch the day before performance and she's there doing the Britney, and then she's just stumbling around stage the next day and it
full
was
diddied.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's like, okay,
Mhm.
but again, that's something we're never going to know. It's one of those probably sealed sections of weirdness.
It'll come out eventually. Somebody will write a book, maybe 20 years down the road, but somebody will.
Weirdness is on display though when Justin Bieber returned to the stage after a year, becoming special guest star at SZA as SZA was on stage. People are having a bit of mixed emotions about little Justin because he's been all over the shop, but they're saying his performance is giving fentanyl fold energy. So Vera, you're probably going to be able to inform the folks a little bit about.
No, I was actually going to intend to look this up because I don't know what fentanyl fold is.
So fentanyl fold. So because of the effects that fentanyl has on the body,
zombie
on the nervous system, it causes people intense muscle relaxation and loss of motor control. When you watch this video, and I've only seen this snippet, Justin is hinging from the waist for a lot of it, and he has his eyes closed, and he's somewhere else.
I thought drunk when I saw it, but I didn't.
Give me more.
Well, this is a big like a thing. Well, and you see it with people on the streets. They're like,
right, yeah.
It's like a Walking Dead kind
of. When you're going to Disney.
I mean, now that you talk about it, I know what it looks like. I've seen it.
Yeah,
I just didn't ever call it the fentanyl fold.
And well, that's how common it is now. So you know that with the fentanyl crisis that's going on.
Steve, do you remember when we were walking up to Disneyland and my daughter was dressed as Cinderella in the big hoop dress, makeup done, all beautiful, and then we're just walking past people with like their clothing falling off them while they're like, I'm like, wow.
Look, I'm very surprised.
Wow,
the proximity to Disney that they don't.
They haven't cleaned that up.
They should have said like they're the street sweeper.
We also have let's not totally rule out our privilege either, because that same little princess saw someone in the bin and went.
True. Did I not chastise her for that?
Yes.
Yes, and explain to her that person doesn't have help, and it's not like back home in Australia. Yes.
It was that came from the guts too. That one. It was like,
She just couldn't believe someone was eating out of a bin. That was all.
Yes,
and she was 5. So
SZA actually in the clip, SZA actually has to go up to him and cup his head, like his head, in her hands, to kind of bring him out of his little stupor, and she basically leads him around the state. Like you can see him kissing her hand and all that. He still hasn't got his eyes open here. Like he's got his eyes closed for over a minute, and she's kind of twirling him around the stage and maneuvering him to where they need to go down in the lift.
So he's not okay.
I don't.
He's
think
not
he's
okay.
I don't.
Not okay.
And I don't know. Look. I don't know that his wife is the best.
No, he should be with me.
I think he needs someone who cares about his well-being.
Yeah, me,
not the money.
I do, and this is only supposition. I have no insight into his life, but I can't help but wonder if he's not completely triggered by all the Diddy shit.
Yeah. Well, even though he's not a victim, allegedly, it's a reaction, right?
Right.
Because for the last 18 months, his behavior has been very, very erratic. He's been seen under the influence of whatever, He had like
What
he was
has
smoking.
Diddy done
was-
to the industry?
He was smoking pot and everything online. Like, and I know that's a legal thing over there, but for his branding and stuff, he's already said he's having mental health struggles. It's put that on top of his physical illnesses. He's not okay, and I like the fact he's at his age. He's already sold his back catalog. Like, for $200 million. Like, let's not lie that $200 million is a lot of money.
200 mil. Oh yeah, Justin, if you're watching, I know you're not, but if you are, I will look after you.
But he will. But that money will.
I'll do everything for you.
But if he's not working, if he's not touring, if he's not making music, if he's not
that'll go quickly.
He's not a face a brand will associate with. That money will go away. He has been a child star, and we've got like this is the whole point of today's show. His child star. He hasn't lived a normal life since he was 12.
No,
if that. You know,
and how many times have we seen that from child stars?
Right,
that their lives are.
It messes them all up.
Yep.
Like Drew Barrymore, we mentioned it earlier, but like she wasn't okay for a long time. Only that I think she's such a intelligent and like I think she had good like foundation that she could get her shit together in the end. But like being a child star is not productive to growing.
Well, they don't allow you to grow up.
No,
you know, you are perpetually corralled and coddled, and you know.
So I'm going to take it back to a conversation that we had with Katrina, Daisy and I had with Katrina after the Nickelodeon documentary came out, and we kind of really got into it about, you know, how she got through that process, and she was just very lucky that her parents and she were realistic about what was happening. She wasn't famous; it was a job, and the fame came because of the job that she did. It wasn't her whole personality.
Yeah,
as a child, because I think when you go and devote that much attention to something, especially as a child, it becomes the focus of their entire being.
Well, it also depends upon the grown-ups around them. You know, Katrina talked about having a good foundation in her parents.
Yeah,
they were, but that's
her parents weren't stage parents.
Justin's dad was partying with him.
Yeah, the conversation that Katrina's parents had with her: you will do this, but you will also do this. This is your job. You will do this, then you do this, and you'll do this. It's not like, okay, we're going to bend the knee because you've got a job. And look, a historic show on children's television, you know, a huge moment in pop culture history, but it wasn't the be all and end all. She was she has a great life, and unlike, you know, some of her
Katrina's parents were happy to say no, like, oh, we want to drive her to this audition. No, we will take her.
Yeah, no, we're going on a family holiday. You can't go to that audition. You know,
yeah.
Highs and lows,
other people were like, yeah, here's my kid.
Would sacrifice everything, and you see that just in everyday. Well, I see it. You see people like, oh, you don't have to go to school. You don't have to do this. You don't like. We'll go there for this rehearsal and do that. You would have seen it, Luke, as a dance parent.
Well,
some parents will just sacrifice everything for.
Yeah, you know, Justin's dad was partying with him when he was underage. Yeah.
Look, there is hope, though. There's a little good news on the child star front. Demi Lovato walked down the aisle this week. She looks stunning. Look at that.
Is that a little GLP-1? Well, we shouldn't care.
I think it is.
Is she a she again?
Yeah, I think it's fair. She has been fairly forthcoming with her struggles with weight and food, and you know, the watermelon birthday cake on the set of her Disney show and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah,
she's been out there. I think Demi has been through the. I have criticized Demi. You can look back on this show at me. You can't deny the girl is talented.
No.
And you can't deny that she has been through the fucking ringer. So deserves a little bit of happiness. So I'm glad that,
Right.
that
Oh,
has
yeah.
happened.
You don't
and
begrudge anyone to be happy. Like,
no,
No.
we like happiness.
And
So-
like, and I don't think she's done anything that's really upset anyone either. Like, she was obviously not doing
Again,
too well for a while, but that's not.
yeah, she's been out. She's one that should have had her social media taken away. Like, she was her own worst enemy there for a while with social media and what she would say. Hold on a minute. Neck tattoo, spiderweb tattoo, pair of fishnets, and we may be looking at my next mistake. She's already taken. Already taken.
Too late.
Unless you're in for a bit of polyamory, which is, neither here nor there. Neither here nor there.
We don't judge.
We also have to acknowledge that we are about to sacrifice some more children to the altar of fame. Ladies and gentlemen, the cast of Harry Potter, the TV show. A bunch of fresh new faces about to start their 10-year journey.
Yep.
No.
Let's see how this unfolds.
No. I never even watched Harry Potter, to be honest.
Either.
I have to come clean. I've never read the books.
But
I've never watched the movies. I've watched some of one of the films once that someone else had on at their home. And
what
I just was like,
sorry
for
to
me.
interrupt. What
You're
conversation do you have with your child to make them understand the intensity of what they're about to enter for this particular thing? Because it is rebranding
Well, there's no
hugely loved franchise.
guarantees.
Oh, they're already committed to
But there's no
10-season TV show.
There's no guarantees that the public's going to receive this.
I know,
well.
exactly.
No,
But this is what I'm saying. They're signing them on potentially for 10 years worth of
big,
work.
big shoes to
Going,
fill too.
This is going to be amazing. This is going to. What
Yeah.
if everyone hates it and you've set your child like?
What if nobody watches
do
it
you have
because
that
they're all still
conversation?
pissed at J.K. Rowling's?
Yeah. How do you have that conversation about going? Okay, this could be the biggest thing that ever happens to you. It could change your life completely, or you could be back here next year.
Well,
What is
it has
that?
to be
What is that
just like
conversation?
Katrina's parents did. You have this job, it has this commitment, but there are other things going on in your life, and if this doesn't pan out, you just sit down and talk to your kids like Katrina's parents did.
Yeah, I don't think it's an enviable situation to be in.
I don't think so either, and I do think that there's already a lot of haters out there because J.K. Rowling's, the kids who grew up with J.K. Rowling's, and my niece is one of them. She started reading when she first started reading chapter books. The first book came out, it was age appropriate, and they got more sophisticated as they went along. And, Aunt Vera read all the books with Nancy, and we watched all the movies, and, we lived that culture. We saw every story. The whole thing is you get by with the help from your friends, you can't judge others, blah, blah, blah. And then, J.K. Rowling comes out as a transphobe and breaks the heart of half of her fandom. I have a feeling that rabid fandom is not going to be there for her with this endeavor.
Well, I don't know that she's that involved in this. I think she might have signed away a bit of
well, I'm sure she did it for money.
Oh, of course, yeah. No one ever signs their rights away to an intellectual property without getting some kind of
Joss Whedon.
You can't convince me that Roseanne didn't either.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, Roseanne got paid. She says it.
You know what I mean?
She talked about it. She got paid. But
I'm talking.
she
I reckon she got big pay. Big pay.
But she did that though more so, not for that money though. She did that to look after the other cast and crew. So
really, because all she does is talk shit about them now.
No, she feels betrayed by them, and I don't blame her. I think she's done some shitty things, and she said some shitty things, but
I think she's batshit crazy.
Oh yeah, so do I. But I'm not a big fan of
love that
culture either. Yeah, I'm not.
It's my bread and butter.
We love
I
that
think
crazy.
sometimes people fucking fall off the rails and carry on with shit. I don't think it should be the end of their life.
I think there's a very different are very different, especially that particular situation. There's a difference between cancel culture being toxic and being called out and refusing to acknowledge it and take responsibility for the
Right.
action that you did that was
Well, I think
egregious.
that's both of them, both J.K. Rowling and Roseanne.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, her comments were egregious, and her reaction when the comments were found out was
Yeah.
egregious. You know,
If
and
you're honest
J.K.
to go-
Rowling just kept doubling down and
Yeah.
doubling down, and she didn't even back off a little bit. Like, maybe I'll reconsider my position. You've shown me a different viewpoint. You know, all she had to do was just spin it a little bit. And she could have stayed in Scotland and been a TERF for the rest of her days and not pissed off her fandom. But she kept doubling down. It's like, if you get caught in one of those situations, like those two women, you got to take some responsibility.
Yeah. I think it would have been a quite different thing for the Roseanne situation if we had gone, okay, that was a shitty thing to say.
Right.
I'm a comedian. And sometimes jokes are inappropriate. That was an inappropriate joke.
Yeah,
I apologize that I've upset people. Not go, I had a sleeping pill and that caused me to be racist.
Right. Or I thought the bitch was white.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Like that could be done. Like the person that I think could get away with it is long past, but she's been popping up on my TikTok. Joan Rivers could always get her way out of. She said some heinous shit.
She did, but she said heinous shit about everybody.
She said,
at
there
was no one off the.
No one was off limits for Joan.
If you held her feet to the fire, she could say it's comedy. I told a joke. I apologize if I've upset someone, but at the end of the day, it's a joke.
And Joan Rivers, though, also lived her life by a different creed than insulting people on stage.
Yeah.
You know, she created charities. She gave to charities.
More than we will ever know.
Right.
If you would like to know more about Joan, check out her documentary. It was a huge eye opener for me, and I loved her even more. And sadly missed. I think the world started to go to shit when we lost Joan Rivers. Really,
Steve? We're actually speaking of running out of time. We're running out of time, and I actually have my segment this week as well.
Oh, I totally forgot. I'm so sorry.
Yes.
I'll have to run the little track. It's been a little minute. Let me find it. I'm so sorry.
Yes.
Well, we have to ask you a question.
Would you rather?
Okay. So this week, I'm not doing anything that's like, life or death or anything like that. I'm just going to keep it pretty simple. What would upset you more? So would you rather finding out that your significant other was having an affair on you, an emotional affair, sexual affair, or if they were injecting drugs intravenously? What is more disturbing and upsetting for you? I want to ask Vera first.
Funnily enough, I've been in that situation, both of those situations, with the same guy.
What a winner!
Webby babes.
I know, right? The cheating was worse than the drugs.
Yeah.
The drugs, I was willing to support him. I was willing to help him get the help he needed. I was willing to take him to rehab. The cheating broke my fucking heart.
Yeah, I think that's definitely, and it's symptomatic of it. Like it's of each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're using drugs to numb something,
right?
And that's obviously going to cause.
And I knew him well enough to know what he was trying to numb.
Yeah.
But
what about you, Steve?
I think I kind of agree with Vera, because I think you have to, especially with a drug addiction, you have to acknowledge what the core problem is.
Mm-hmm.
Because yes, they may get off the drugs, but the likelihood of them replacing it with something else, whether it be sex, whether it be alcohol, whether it be is high. That coping mechanism just doesn't go away. You see it when people come off drugs; they become fitness addicts. They become diet addicts. They become, they they become shopaholics, they become hoard, like, you know, that compulsion to control and maintain, you know, and I guess control your emotions manifests in some way. I think you have to go to the core of it, and there is a reason. There's a reason why people cheat. You know, it doesn't just happen.
Well, that leans into my answer. I actually would find it like, look, if someone cheated on me, like either way, it's the end of the relationship. But if they cheated on me, I could probably just reconcile as like, oh, they're just a piece of shit and they were fucking around. I would be more disturbed and upset if they were doing IV drugs, because I would be like, holy fuck, who were you? Like, I would feel that's more of a betrayal if I found that out later into the relationship. I'd be like, who the fuck are you? Like, I don't even know you. So either or, it's over. And I also think, like, if they're doing drugs, then they're probably going to cheat as well, because, you know,
well, to be fair, with the drug use with that gentleman, well, there were red flags that I chose to ignore.
Yeah, and you do.
You know, there were red flags that I chose to ignore. You know,
getting into a relationship, you go, you know, you got the blinders on. It's not until you do get to know somebody that you see.
Yeah.
You know,
I would feel though more like the rug was out from under me. Like, I would be really upset either way. Don't get me wrong, but I just think the drug use thing would be like, holy fuck. Like,
well, like I said, the drug use thing when it came up,
I think that's going to be.
When
but
it
I
came
think the drug
out,
use is going to be more apparent.
When it came out, there were reasons that I understood. There were things that happened to him in his early life that triggered things. The drug was a coping mechanism. We did go to rehab. We did go to I did drive to fucking Pennsylvania to go to family counseling with him. You know,
Dogsy puts a very pertinent point. That depends on you if they're using the joint account for the junkie juice. That didn't make me mad.
You know, no matter what I will give to another person, I'm very weird about sharing my money. It's like,
don't fuck with Vera's money.
Bank account, fuck no.
It makes her feisty, and we love a feisty.
I've never done it. You know, that's actually
Vera.
That's something that I've probably got to give myself credit for. Even when, like, I bought my house with my first partner, we went into that still separate but together. Like, we had our own mortgage for the same property. We had, like, everything was separate. And I've always been like that. And even it served me well when I was with someone who was actually really crazy, that I never ever put them on my mortgage. I never ever put them on someone's birth certificate. I was like, no, like, this is what I'm doing. You're unable to contribute anyway, so I'm keeping the walls up, and it saved me. So.
I've never let anybody co-sign for me. I've never co-signed for another person. I've never shared money, except maybe with my sister.
Well, we hope you can trust her, but if not, you can always get feisty about it, because it's that time. It's time for Vera. We're going to run a little long today, folks, but that's okay, because she's feisty and ready to go. Here we go. So on the vent.
You know, I'm going to call this rant, My Country 'Tis of Thee. This week here in the States was Memorial Day. And as I've said many times, I grew up in a very Republican family. My dad's family were all served in the military. You know, my dad's family were ranchers. They were men of the land. They raised their own meat. They lived off the land. My grandparents on my mother's side were so children of the Depression. And, you know, my grandmother used to teach me all these Depression era tricks where, like, you'd scrape out the egg white out of the egg shell, and the cumulative effect in a dozen eggs with 13 eggs, the equivalent of 13 eggs instead of 12, you know, and all of this Americana that is around this holiday left me so cold. I don't recognize my country anymore. I grew up in this Republican time with these Republican people. And I thought Ronald Reagan was going to save the country, but as I've grown up, I've realized that the things that Ronald Reagan set into motion have brought us to where we are now. And I look at the things that Donald Trump is putting into motion, and even if he fell asleep tonight and didn't wake up tomorrow and was gone from our lives forever, this is lasting damage. Donald Trump made the comment this weekend about nobody's talking about any other country but America. And Jimmy Kimmel responded, yeah, they're talking about us the way we talk about Diddy, with a combination of interest, laughter, and revulsion. This is not the country I grew up in. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe I had those blinders on, and just like I didn't see the drug use, I didn't see my country slipping away. But we're going to feel this forever. The things that Elon Musk broke in the 180 days that he was Doge aren't going to get fixed right away. We're going to create a deficit of civil servants. There are going to be people, there's knowledge that is completely lost that will never be regained. There's research in the National Institute of Health that is stopped, that will never be restarted. You know, I can't begin to tell you how truly sad I am about the state of my country. And yes, I make jokes about being disappeared by ICE and being deported, but they're only half jokes, people. I have dreams about being abducted by ICE and ending up in prison. I think I might have missed the window to leave this country and get to a safe space, but I never wanted to leave this country. I grew up loving this country, and I don't recognize it. And that is the tragedy of the American experiment. I don't know where we'll be. I hope we come through this on the other side a better democracy. Germany certainly did after Hitler. And yeah, we're not supposed to make comparisons, but fuck you, we know that's true. I don't know how to feel about my country anymore. Sad, scared, ashamed, and horrified. Not so much a vent as a lament.
You know, it has resonated around the world, though, because we just had an election where there was a lot of there was the trumpet of patriots and all this kind of junk going on, but there was a resounding, like, no, like, we're going to stay with our more left-leaning party, and we're going to keep, you know, people's rights, and all of that stuff was very prominent during that election. And it was what was very, like, it was a landslide. It was all of that stuff, all of that really conservative, terrible shit
the results
was rejected.
Of what it is. Like the whole, and it's the same thing with what went on with your election. They are trying to dress this up as a return to old-fashioned values and making the world what it used to be. And remember the good times, but
yeah,
the good times weren't necessarily that good for everyone. There's a reason why the world changed. There's a reason why, you know, we adapt, we move forward, we move on. You may have rose-colored glasses on for the period that you grew up in, but just because your experience is okay does not mean people of other ethnicities were okay, people of other gender identities were okay.
And nostalgia is a great drug. Like, we all like to remember back to, like, simpler times when, like, you know, when we were younger and things weren't as complicated. But the reality is, though, it was never better.
Well, I mentioned Reagan in this week, and I've mentioned Reagan all the time. I was brought up on Reagan. He was the Republican god at the time, But some of the policies that he put into place, he broke the unions. He weakened every union in this country. He gutted the fairness doctrine. And that's, that dismissal of the unions is what started the dearth of the American middle class. The end of free press is what started the education policies. The education policies that every Republican in the country started defunding education under Reagan. All of these things have snowballed to land us where we are today. And now I look at the things that Trump is doing, and I pray to God that they're not going to snowball into something worse in 40 years.
You can hope that, we will recognize the past and learn from it. But as Dogsy, we're going to leave the last word to Dogsy V. I know it's a bit of a shit sandwich at the moment, but you can always hop on YouTube and see Charlie Kirk getting railed by college students.
I can see him. Whatever made him think he could handle it.
That's reassure. Is that not reassuring that there are people willing to call people on their bullshit?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why
I'm still here calling people on their bullshit, even though I live in fear.
That's why we keep going, and we will keep going strong. Thank you for joining us today for Uncensored Radio's UCR Live. The lovely Luke and the ever vivacious Vera. I've been Steve. We will be back at you twice next week. So have a good time, folks. And for the love of God, especially if your name is Vera, stay away from open flames. Bye.